You're listening to Men of Abundance, episode 121. Today is Pay It Forward Aloha Friday, and in this episode, we're going to answer the question, is fear real, or is it false evidence appearing real?
Welcome to Men of Abundance, the podcast for those looking to level up their lives by hanging out with some of the greatest leaders and established professionals in our community, living a life of integrity, honor, and the abundance mentality. Prepare to pay it forward with your host, former Army medic turned lifestyle entrepreneur, Wally Carmichael.
Aloha, Men of Abundance. I am Wally Carmichael, your host and founder of the Men of Abundance podcast, the Pay It Forward community. Today is Pay It Forward Aloha Friday. If you're brand new to listening to the show, just know that this is a Friday episode where I basically talk about something that's on my mind. Either I had a conversation with somebody, maybe one of you, maybe one of the featured guests, or just something that just popped into my mind from a book that I was reading, or who knows, another podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about fear, and let me explain to you why I decided to have this conversation. Earlier this week, I had 3 conversations with future guests for Men of Abundance, and all 3 of them have completely different backgrounds. One was a woman, 2 guys, all from different parts of the world. And when I asked the question, what holds most people back from living a life of true abundance, every single one of them said simply the word fear. Now, I get many different answers to that question, and I'm always intrigued by all the different answers. And by far the most common answer is that one word, fear. Now, some of them may have a little bit more description as they're describing why that is and what specifically they mean, but it all kind of rolls down into the same thing, which is fear. And then I remember many years ago, I don't know where I first heard it, but I heard this acronym of fear, that fear is an acronym and it stands for false evidence appearing real. And I started thinking about my own fears in my life, and I started thinking about my own fears of starting this podcast, and then starting a membership site, and then starting mastermind group, or starting to write my book and then publishing my book, and started thinking about what would people think about me? What are people going to think if I say this or if I do this? What if it doesn't work? What if it fails? What if people don't receive it properly? What if people think I'm an idiot? And all of those feelings started coming into my mind, and I realized something. I felt the fear. I could feel it. I could feel it in my heart. My heart rate went up. I could feel it in my bones. I literally started sweating. I could literally feel the fear. So my answer to that question is fear real, or is it false evidence appearing real? And in my mind, fear is real. I truly fear that fear. I truly feel that fear. And I know you do too. But let's look at the evidence. Let's break it down. The first part of that is the acronym is false evidence. So what is the evidence? The evidence is that if I put something out there, if I start my podcast, and many of you know who've been following me for a long time, the one thing that I am not super excited about with my body, with myself, is my voice. Yet here I am using my voice to get my message out there. And one of the most fearful things is sharing my voice, especially my recorded voice. And I listen to every single one of my episodes just because I learned so much when I go back and listen to them again. But that was a fear. And I truly felt that. But the evidence was that if I share it, then people are going to look at me differently. They're going to, call me an idiot. What are they going to think of me? All these different thoughts came to my mind. And you know what? Some people may think that way of me. And you know what? I don't really care at this point. I really don't. Enough people that do like the website, that do like the podcast, that do like the message, they send me messages on a regular basis. I get different messages every single week. But the thing is, so what? Some people may think that of me, but there are others out there who are waiting to hear my message, who want to learn from my experiences, and who want to have a conversation with me or listen to the conversations that I'm sharing. Not just mine, but all of the other people that I've had conversations with, and many more to come. So then we go back to that first phrase, that first couple, the F and the E. False evidence. Is the evidence real? Sure, it could be real. But It's the perspective and the mindset that you put into it. It's the weight that you put into it. There are many things that you can do in life that people are going to ridicule you about. Most people, and we're going to go back to the same old saying because it's just so familiar that so many people say, go to school, get a good job, and then, work for the same job forever. That stuff doesn't work. We all know that. But let's say you do go to school and your parents want you to go to school to be a doctor, but you want to go to school to be an artist. You want to go to school to be a musician. You know what? Your parents are going to go, you're going to do what? You're going to go to school to be a musician? They're still going to ridicule you. Hey, you're still going to school. You're doing what they asked you to do, or they told you to do, or they suggested for you to do, or society suggested for you to do. But you're going to school to learn something you want to learn, and they're still going to ridicule you about it. And then you're going to go there, you're going to have a good time, you're going to learn a lot, and maybe you don't make a career out of it. Maybe it just ends up being a good hobby while you get out and go work at a shoe store or go work at a factory or go work and do something else. But you still got that skill and you still did that, and nobody can take that away from you. Or maybe you're at a point right now where you've been working in a job, you've been working various jobs for the last 20 years, 25 years, and you realize, you know what, I know there's more in life. I see people living different lives, and I'm not talking about multimillionaires, I'm not talking about people with a lot of money. I'm just talking about people that are doing what they want to do, having a great day at work, having a great day on the job, or having a great day in their own business, and they're enjoying what they do, and then they're going to spend time with family, and you want more of that, and you know you want to make a change. In order to make change, you have to take action, and there is the key. The cure for fear is action. Think about this. I've talked about this before. Have you ever been on top of a high dive at the pool? Or you've seen a kid at the high dive at the pool. Maybe you haven't gone off it, but you've seen somebody at the pool and you see them on that high dive and it takes them, it seems like 30, 40 minutes for them to go off the high dive. Meanwhile, the line is backed up. All the kids are yelling at them, jump, jump, and they don't jump. Then finally they get up enough nerve. They don't want to go down the stairs because what? They're afraid what everybody's going to think of them if they go back down the stairs, back down the ladder. So they jump. Once they jump, they realize they didn't die. They realize it was exhilarating. It was the most amazing thing that they've ever done in their life. And then what do? They go over and over and over again. After a couple of days, they start doing flips. They start doing swan dives. They start doing gainers and backflips. And they start doing jackknives and all kinds of crazy stuff. And they're going and going. And then it's just like second nature to them. But you go back to when they first started, it took them forever to make that jump. The fear was real. The danger was possible because they might slap their belly on the water, slap their face on the water or something like that, and then everybody's going to laugh at them. And then, of course, there you go back again worrying about what everybody's thinking of you. But they all did the same thing, too. They all failed at one point as well. So you got to think about this kind of stuff. And then once they jumped, he realized it was the most amazing thing they had ever done in their life or you have ever done in your life. Until that next thing that you feared doing. And it took you forever to pull the trigger, took you forever to make the decision to go ahead and write that book or ask that girl out or start a new job, apply for a new job, walk into a new job instead of applying for it, walk into the job when you know that they're hiring and go right up to the manager and say that you want a job, do it face to face. Now, I know that's hard to do these days because most people want you to apply online. But even while applying online, you can still attach a cover letter and be bold in that cover letter. That's your point. That's your time. That's your opportunity to brag on yourself, to tell them who you are and what you're willing to bring to the company, what value added you have to the company. Talk about the company. Use the company's mission in your cover letter. Tell them about how you're going to support their mission. These are bold things that you need to do to take action and cure the fear. To sum this up, fear is real. The feeling is real. You truly feel that in your gut. You truly start sweating. Your heart rate goes up. The evidence that's there is possible, but you have to overcome that part. And the way to overcome that is to take action and realize it's not as bad as you thought it would be. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this subject. This is a really big subject, and it truly does hold so many people back. I've had so many conversations with CEOs, CFOs, authors, you name it, people that are just doing amazing things in the world, and every single one of them had kick-in-the-gut moments at various levels that they all had to overcome. And they had fear when they first got started, and they still have fear today every time they're going to start something new in their life. But they've learned to take action and cure the fear. So I'd love to hear what you have to say about this. Leave your comments down below. If you're listening to this on Men of Abundance on the website, menofabundance.com/121, leave your comments down below. Otherwise, if you find this on one of your social media platforms, leave your comments. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this subject and how you plan on overcoming your fear or have already overcome fear. Now, go out and live your life of abundance and make sure to pay it forward.